y'all, Kearsten Meads here, your favorite realtor, and it is Figure It Out Friday. Today we're going to talk about earnest deposit. What is it? Earnest deposit is basically good faith. It is from $500 to around 6% of the purchase price, depending on your price point. You submit it with your offer. That just shows the seller your earnest and your commitment in following through with the transaction. The earnest deposit is held in an escrow account. It's deposited and held in an escrow account until closing, at which point it comes back to you and goes on to your closing costs or whatever it needs to go on in the transaction. To ensure you keep your earnest deposit, if you were to break the contract, you need to make sure you're following the terms laid out in the contract. There are three main contingencies that you need to follow and be within the bounds if you do want your earnest deposit back. The first one is the inspection period or your due diligence period. So typically you have 10 days from the time that you sign the contract that you can do your inspections, do your due diligence, check on insurance rate, etc., etc. During that time, you can back out of the contract and get your earnest deposit back within the 10-day period. If you were to decide to back out of the contract due to something in the inspections on, say, the 20th day, then you're forfeiting your earnest deposit and the seller is going to receive that. The second main contingency of the contract is your financing. You have a set time to get all of your information into the lender and make sure that you have full commitment for a loan. And if you don't do so within that amount of time, you forfeit your earnest deposit. The third typical contingency is the appraisal contingency, and that is if the appraisal comes in short and you're having to renegotiate with the seller and you can't come to terms, then you would be able to back out of the contract and get your earnest deposit back at that point. Otherwise, if you breach the contract outside of your time periods to do so laid out in the contract, then the seller can take your earnest deposit. That's why you need to make sure that you have a wonderful, fantastic realtor that has your back and that watches those time periods for you and keeps you on track. A lot of you think that's super annoying when we follow up with you constantly, but it's for your own good. So make sure you have that. Here's a fun idea. What if we got together and we looked over the contract together before you even got in the process? That way you know exactly what you're getting into before you get there. If you want to set up a buyer or seller consultation with me, just reach out, message me, or comment below this video and let me know when is good for you. We can get together. We can talk about all the different things that come with a real estate transaction and get you on the right track.